Okay, so the following videos are about how to create tables, and in the next video will be how to create graphical and numerical summaries in SAS. Presumably you've already read or seen the very first video about how to read data into SAS. So we're going to pick up from there, and let's take a quick look at our dataset. So proc print data is equal to hot dogs, and let's just take a look at the first 5 observations. So when we do this, we can see here that we have type sodium calories. In this case here, we should have 3 different types of hot dogs: beef, meat, and poultry. So how do we figure out how many of each we have? We can do this by using the PROC tabulate command. So PROC tabulate, that is equal to hot dogs. So I want to tabulate type. So first I need to define the class, which is type. And then I need to define how the table looks. So we type in type, and when we type in times by n, it tells SAS that I want a count of each different type of hot dog. So if we run this, we can see here that we have 20 beef, 17 meat, and 17 poultry. Now let's make things more interesting. Let's say, for example, we want to define a healthy hot dog as one that has less than 150 calories. So how do we do this? There are 2 methods. The first is actually to edit the dataset, and the second is to use a format option. So the first option, we'll create data, and we're going to edit the dataset. Now I don't like to overwrite the datasets, so this is why I'm creating a second one called hot dogs 2. And when you write in set hot dogs, that tells SAS that, okay, the information is coming from this variable. And I'm going to create one called healthy, and it's a true or false based on the condition of whether or not the value for calories is less than 150. Now if I want to overwrite hot dogs, I would just get rid of this too, but I don't want to. So I'll run that, and if I take a look at a quick preview of it, so again, hot dogs 2, and we'll look at the first 5 observations. If I run this, and as you can see here, we have the exact same thing, the first 5 observations, but now healthy is a true or false conditional based on whether or not the calories is less than 150. The value 0 indicates false, and the value 1 indicates true. So now that I've added that, I can then create a table that cross-references the number that are healthy versus the different type. Now this is what we call a n by m contingency table, or in this case here, a 2 by 3 contingency table of healthy versus type. And this can tell us the number of, say for example, beef hot dogs that are healthy. So to do this, we do a proc, but instead of a tabulate, we do PROC FREQ. But as always, data is equal to hot dogs, but remember, it's going to be hot dogs 2. We'll run it, and like before, we'll call in tables, healthy being my row, by type being my column. Now if I run this, it's going to be very busy looking, like so. Now let's say I don't want to have that much information, and I just want to count. So to make it less busy, we can type in no com for cumulative, no percentage, no row information, or no column information. Now if you run this, it's going to be much cleaner looking. And you can see here that 0 meaning false, 1 meaning true, that there are 11 unhealthy hot dogs and 9 healthy hot dogs. With respect to poultry, there are 0 unhealthy hot dogs and 17 healthy hot dogs. So that's the first method, by actually directly editing the data. Now the second option is to use what's called the PROC FORMAT command, which is very useful. And so what happens is we're going to create a brand new formatting that can be applied to any continuous variable. So the value will be stored within the variable called healthy. And then what we do is, okay, 151 to 1000. Now if the value falls between this range here, we consider false. And then if the value falls between 150 and 0, we'll consider true. And so this is very similar to my previous conditional statement of calories being less than 150, i.e. not healthy, or if they are less than 150, they are healthy. The values 1000 here and 0 are arbitrary. The only reason I'm doing them here is because you can't use inequality. And so remembering that 150 is my cutoff point. So if I do that, then again I can go back to PROC FREQ, and then data is equal to, I'm actually going back to hot dogs. Let's just show that I'm not trying to play a trick here, since healthy was already defined previously. And again, we'll do tables. Now remember, healthy isn't defined as a variable in hot dogs, so I have to go back to calories, which is continuous, and that's in my rows, times type, which is my column. I don't want too busy, so no com, no percentage, no row, or col. Now remember though, calories is a continuous variable, so I want to dichotomize it, and I will dichotomize it by using format. So format, calories, and we'll use the information from healthy. Please keep in mind that the dot here, the period, is very important. If you do not have that, you will get an error. So let's keep this in mind that we have 11 unhealthy hot dogs and 9 healthy hot dogs. If I run this, I'll go through and we get the same thing. We have 9 healthy beef hot dogs, 11 unhealthy beef hot dogs. The only difference between this one and our previous one is the fact that the first rows were inverted, but they are essentially the exact same thing. So this is how you can create tables or crosstabs using SAS.